I was going nobody who was really famous. I was going for real music, real people, and to keep some of the legacy, especially for Cuban music, because that's my heritage. It's a beautiful thing to have, the family is important. Believe it or not, for me, it's been the biggest production. And when I was leaving, I got the bag, and the lady said, you could be famous, but you have to pay the bill now. Pride sometimes is not to get a diploma. Pride is when you accomplish something and you share with other people. My dad told me one day, the best feeling in the world is when you give something to somebody. The worst feeling is when you have to ask. Money is important, and success is important, but I think to be happy and to feel, that you did something for a community, for global, is an incredible thing. I never go to sleep if I feel I have to tell you something that you have to hear. I don't like to hold anything for anybody because I think that's the way it should be. Celia used to tell me, you can sell records, you cannot buy love. I say, if you don't sign her, you don't get Jennifer Lopez, you don't get Shakira, you don't get Gloria Estefan, you don't get Ricky Martin. But it was a crazy idea. I got in a boat that was only like 22 feet, a very small boat, and we got lost for 7 days without food and water.
And my mom was pregnant.
She was pregnant. Sacha told me this. Well, look, where you went to school? I said, Miami High. She said, man, I never go there. They never teach you English. I said, oh my God.
Sacha, what a little twerp. Welcome, Earthlings, space worms, señoras, señores, and everything in between. The truth is, I could sit here and only talk about the human being on the couch with us today, and that would be way more than a gift to us all. I could talk about the way he's been married to his wife for 46 and a half years, wow, and he's still leaving notes, love notes, on her nightstand and in her luggage. The way he works 12 hours a day and still drops off medicine for his daughter and her partner on the way home. And the way he wakes up at 5 a.m. to feed stray animals that probably wouldn't consider themselves stray at all, considering they have better mattresses than most of us. Not to mention what he's managed to achieve in other ways. It would be a shame to not list those accomplishments because they are just as rare as his soul.
We are in the presence of a living legend. With an astonishing 19 Grammy Awards, a Presidential Medal of Freedom, induction into the Latin Songwriters Hall of Fame, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and so much more, Emilio is not just a producer. He's a musical and artistic architect who has helped shape the global soundscape for over 4 decades, writing and creating the soundtrack to our lives. Working with supernovas, including Shakira, Ricky Martin, Jennifer Lopez, Marc Anthony, Celia Cruz, Carlos Vives, The Wailers, Gloria and Emilio Estefan, Stevie Wonder, Tony Bennett, Carlos Santana, and the list goes on. And contributing to some of the biggest movies of all time, including Top Gun, The Specialist, Anastasia, The Little Mermaid, and so many more.
But why is he truly the best? Because he's my pops. And a grandpa, and a husband, and a son, and trust me, one of the best ones to ever exist in all of the galaxies, including here in outer space. And that's probably the accolade, if you asked him, he'd be most proud of. Please welcome to outer space, the one and only, my papi,
Emilio Estefan!
Wow, what an introduction. That's because she's my daughter and I love her too. So, you see what you get, when you have such a beautiful family. But, the only thing I can tell you, that I never see a Cuban astronaut. I can tell you that. The only way I've been landing in Hialeah, baby. Instead of the moon.
Okay.
Well, you're the first.
There you go.
Yeah, the first. That's good.
For those of you out there, this conversation is going to be in Spanglish. So you're going to hear a little bit of English, un poquito de español. So get ready for the ride.
Maybe another language.
Who knows?
You never know.
But the world knows a lot about you. And that's good. You're somebody that should be studied for many, many years. Not only because of, like we mentioned, what you've accomplished, but who you are inside. I think that's what truly makes you out of this world. And there's a few things about you that we know, or that maybe you haven't talked about a lot, that I would love to ask you today. Starting with, everybody knows Miami Sound Machine, everybody knows Mom, everybody knows Miami Latin Boys even. But can you tell us about El Conjunto Capetillo?
Conjunto Capetillo was something that, I wanted to be a musician when I was in Cuba. And we used to play, when everybody went to lunch in Santiago de Cuba, we used to bring all the kids around to come and perform, and then the only thing available was an accordion.
And how old were you?
I was probably 11 years old,
Wow.
12 years old. But it was a tough time at the same time because I was having the best time of my life, but I made a decision at 11 years old to go leave Cuba to save my family, not to get in the military age. So realistic, and sometimes probably you don't know, it's really hard to confront life. When you're 11 years old, you have to make a decision to leave, knowing that probably you will never see your family again. But if I could stay at that time, that could be the end of my family to staying in a communist country.
Yeah.
But music was what saved my life. I think that's the reason I've done so many great things from music, because, when you do something you love, that's the main thing in life. And to me, it was a blessing. Many years after reuniting with my family, I have a beautiful marriage. My family is a beautiful family. I have the best daughter my whole life. And I love you too. So, it's a beautiful thing to have, the family is important. Believe it or not, the family is extremely important. And for me, it's been the biggest production.
So it was a band then, Conjunto Capetillo.
What band? You're talking only like 2 accordion, conga, a guitar.
That's a band?
But, something, we became really famous.
Wow.
And then it was time, believe it or not, that, after 3 years, the visa came. We left to Spain. It was incredible because, getting to Spain, living with a beautiful family. And, I tell this story because people need to know your life can change in 1 minute. And a flight to Spain, 8 hours, when I got there, we was almost homeless, and we used to go to a church for food. And, and I used to eat between Monday and Friday. I used to go to the church where I call the Cuban people. And then afterwards, Saturday and Sunday, I saw a guy play the accordion. And I went there, I said, listen, I know it's a lot of Cuban people coming to Madrid. And the guy who plays at night, but I can come for lunch, and you give me food for me and my dad.
Wow.
It will be okay. And, it was, in a way, it was a blessing because I was enjoying playing the accordion, but I got free food. Sometimes people need to know, Latinos especially, we love, we do so many things to save our family, to do things, beautiful things. I also wanted to make a contribution to, to Latinos and to the Latinos families and to this incredible country that we live, that is an incredible thing to do. I always say, and you kid a lot because I say, God bless America. It's a blessing, I'm going to tell you, because to live in freedom is the main thing that you can have.
That's true.
Wow.
And there aren't a lot of places in this world right now that experience that freedom, but also the freedom that you've given your family and your children by making that sacrifice that a lot of us out there listening, probably's family share the same story.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have a lot of people like that, but it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I mean, when you accomplish a lot of things in the long run, what you want to leave is a legacy to you, which is the more important thing in my whole life, Najib and my grandson, of course, my wife. And, something at the family. I mean, that's a beautiful thing to have, to accomplish and create something that people are so nice to me and to Gloria. I go out, people give me kisses. I say, God, thank you, God bless you.
You're so nice. You attract it. You're like a teddy bear.
The only thing that I do is, I said, make music, and it's a beautiful thing.
You do a lot more than make music, but we can leave it there.
It was nice the other day. I went to a place, and I went to get some salads for the kids. I mean, the musicians in the studio. It was a Cuban guy. Said, Emilio. I said, oh my God, hello, how are you? I mean, he was so loud. I got a lot of people come from the kitchen. The beauty parlor came. I mean, it was like 40 people. I took like 40 pictures. And when I was leaving, I got the bag, and the lady said, you could be famous, but you have to pay the bill now.
He's like,
So I don't know if you know this, but this is actually your 5th appearance on In Our Own World. You came on for Father of the Bride for a second. We did a prank call with you the first season.
I love that. I have my daughter playing
the Association of Croquetas.
And she has like an incredible timing and getting an airplane. She said, you won the best food and wine in Miami, croquetas.
The best croqueta.
I thank you so much, Gloria. Said, you're going to fall. Be careful with the luggage. Yes, thank you so much.
We also did a clavada with Enrique Santos. And we had a little cameo of you and iHeart Fiesta Latina. So it really is a pleasure to have you here.
That's nice. They never pay me. They never pay me.
We paid him in croquetas.
Oh, my God.
Croquetas once again.
Bueno, Dad, after your famous days in El Conjunto Capetillo, which Capetillo is also what you would call abuelo, my grandpa. And I heard today, actually, in our reconnaissance mission.
Yes, we were doing some research.
Yes, that Capetillo era uno de los Three Stooges, ¿no?
No, los Three Musketeers. Los Tres Villalobos. Los Tres Villalobos, ¿no?
Yeah. I mean, your grandfather won the lottery 27 times.
That's crazy.
Was the luckiest guy in the whole world.
Like you.
and he died with one pair of shoes and one suit because he gave his money away to all the poor people in the world. He was a great role model for me as a person because he left the pride. Prize sometimes is not to get a diploma. Prize when you accomplish something and you share with other people. My dad told me one day, the best feeling in the world is when you give something to somebody. The worst feeling when you had to ask. Now, the way he did the Capetillo was a guy in the Three
Musketeers,
yeah.
that was a bad guy. And then he played the role that said, listen, Capetillo is a good guy, give money to everybody. He wanted to change his name because he likes the guy. And it was only like, something on radio. But, that's the only reason in his mind he wanted to do that. And then he stick with it as a nickname, Capetillo.
Wow. Didn't you told me one time a story that you grabbed money from one of the times he won the lotto and you opened up a shoe factory?
No, underwear. No.
Underwear factory.
He did that in Cuba. I mean, what I did here, when I came from Cuba, I grew up with the Bacardi family. I was 16 years old and I needed to work.
Yeah.
And, and I went and said, please, I need work. And, they put me as an office boy. And then I remember I used to go early in the morning to make coffee for everybody and say, Morito, come here, coffee. And then it was a lady say, oh my God, Emilio, I need to bring the kids to the school. I don't have the money. And he said, you know something? One day she comes, I just won the lottery. I said, oh my God, I'm so happy. I made a special coffee. I said, I'm kidding. 30 minutes later, my dad called me and said, come home, we just won the lottery from Puerto Rico.
Oh my
And you know what I did? I took
gosh.
some money. I said, we are alone here. Something happened to me, or it even happened to you. I want to be sure you save some money.
Yeah.
And we put into the song stock from Bacardi.
Wow.
So, it's only 5 people in the world that owns a little piece of Bacardi. I mean, my thing is very small, but I own that, and and then Bacardi bought the Grey Goose, Patron, so many other things. Sometimes you have to think in the long term. What is going to happen? Because what happened to me, I never wanted them to have that problem, my family, my kids, because it's really hard to lose everything in 8 hours that you fly, because one person, I would never like to say his name, changed the history of Cuba.
Yeah.
How it's still people suffering in Cuba, how people still don't have the freedom, how people don't have food, which is a horrible thing.
Horrible.
So you mentioned earlier when you left your family in Cuba, right? And one of the other incredible things that you and Mom have done is the Broadway show On Your Feet, which not only had an amazing run on Broadway, but is traveling all over the world, has been translated into a myriad of languages.
Yeah.
And there's a very powerful scene in the show where you're at the airport and you're holding a photo and you leave your family. Did that really happen, or was it something like that?
No, that happens because my grandfather knew that I would never see him again. I said, this picture so you remember me. Like that, so many people happens.
Yeah.
Listen, not only Latinos. You're talking about Jewish people, Italian people. Sometimes people need to make a move in life to make a better life from their family. And I knew I had to go to Cuba at the time because, it was very difficult to stay thinking that, getting to 15 years old, you get in a military age. But I really realized I never went in a bike or skate because, my childhood was worrying how I'm going to live my family.
You grew up really early.
And like that is a lot of people from many countries, from many, many countries that go through that kind of pain. And, I hope that the world learn to make things better for everybody and get to a better world when it comes to sometimes because one person can change the life of many people.
Yeah.
Look what happened to Cuba. It's a dictator for many, many years.
And look at you.
And
You're one
the
person
opposite.
who has changed the world for better for a lot of people.
Well, I'm very happy because, we always work. I mean, money is important and success is important. But I think to be happy and to feel, that you did something for a community, for global, is an incredible thing.
Yeah, you're amazing. A few weeks ago, your niece Lily was receiving her Hollywood star, and we heard a story that I've heard a couple of times, but I don't think everybody has heard. If you want to share it with people, I think they would really love to hear it, of how you essentially rescued them, Lily and Michi and Papo, your brother, from Cuba. What was that like?
Well, that was the first time I never said that to anybody because I didn't want to say that.
Yeah.
But she was
people were
receiving
surprised.
the star, and she mentioned that she was living in a safe country because when Cuba opened, Maria, that was the only chance that I got to get them out. It was 20 years, there was luck, it's no way where they was going out. But it was a crazy idea. I got in a boat that was only like 22 feet, a very small boat, and we got lost for 7 days without food and water.
And my mom was pregnant.
She was
here
pregnant.
in
And
Miami.
you know something? Finally, when I got there, they told me the boat was so small that I cannot get them. So I had to come back. And then, believe it or not, when you do something beautiful, we play a benefit in Costa Rica for the present for a benefit for kids that we did it. And I said, listen, I need a favor. You need to see you can get a visa for them. And then the president said, I will do that for Emilio.
Wow.
And then they came to Costa Rica.
I'm sorry, how long did you say you got lost for?
He said
7 days.
that's crazy.
What is that experience like?
Well, the
we're
thing,
scared?
realistic, we brought some food with us, but we didn't bring enough for the 4 people that went in the boat. So we were thinking we was coming back.
Yeah.
And it was tough because realistic, you're in the middle and we have no gas. If we ran out of gas. So what we did, we brought some cookies and some things that you can keep without, and we used to divide that. And at night, we used to put like a little bit of plastic to collect water. And whenever it rained, we put whatever we have to collect the water. It was tough because Gloria was pregnant when Najib.
Did you ever think what if I don't get back?
Yeah, many times.
My poor mom.
My God,
Yeah.
your poor dad. Your poor mom for sure.
At least no communication, no communication whatsoever. I remember they let us go in a private bus.
Yeah.
And it took me 12 hours to get from the boat. And they made us wait, standing there for 12 hours. I was almost, I think, like probably 14 days without taking a shower.
Wow.
And I went to a hotel. I made a line when I called my brother. My brother said, "Oh my God, we're free, we're coming." And I said, "No, something that I was not allowed to bring you." And then he said, something, try to continue your life and do what you have to do and forget about us. I said, "No, I'm not going to forget about you. We are going to get you out."
Wow.
And then 4 years later, they went to Costa Rica.
Wow. Like you went all the way there, caballero, to make sure that he knew and crossed all the way and swam and took a bus. And
risked his life, his family, his wife, his kid on the way.
But I never said that to in an interview. When she said that, when she was getting the taxi, I said, "Oh my God."
No, everybody was wow.
Nobody knew. Nobody knew.
I think that it's a perfect story to describe your character because your character precedes you. That's like Emily said, your success, your resume. I had Jose send me your EPK because I was so impressed by it. I wanted to show my friends and ask Emily. I do. I'm like, look at everything he's done.
Impressive.
I'm part of the Emilio Estefan fan club. Yeah. But you as a person, as a father, and I've gotten to see it up close, which they haven't had that opportunity. You're an incredible human being. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's really the lesson that you have to teach humanity. I really think that's your legacy, is the man that you are, the father that you are, the husband, the grandfather, the father-in-law.
And it's in the music. It's in everything he does, and I think that's a beautiful thing that you all constantly teach me about how you can spread powerful messages through music in such a dark time.
Absolutely.
In that way, we really can.
Including in lyrics. When you write lyrics,
Yeah.
Some of the songs that I wrote in my whole life is coming out of the dark.
Coming out of the dark.
When we were in an accident, we was on top of the world, and we met President Bush in the White House. Then we went to Sony, bought Columbia Pictures. We went to celebrate that night, and then the next day we got into an accident, and they told us that Gloria probably will never walk again, and no more kids. Mm-hmm. And there you are. You're a miracle. You to us became like
now
a miracle.
Twin.
You know something?
Went,
you became as a miracle too. That and your mom said, "I'm gonna have her, and I want to get back in the States 1 year after." Your mom is an incredible person. It's so beautiful when you marry somebody that you admire and you fall in love even more through the years because time is running out, and it's beautiful to spend the time that you have with the people you love. It's true.
Time is not running out.
Yeah, but that's okay, everybody. But in the long run, let me tell you, money is important, fame is important, more important to be happy. If you have a balance between money and you can help other people and at the same time you're a happy person, I see a lot of famous people and rich people, not famous. They don't enjoy. I still buy, me, one pair of shoes. Oh my God, a new pair of shoes tomorrow, I'm going to wear that. The minute you lose that, forget about that.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, and the only thing, I never go to sleep if I feel I have to tell you something that you have to hear. I don't like to hold anything for anybody because I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
He's going to put it in a song and send it to you. Check out this new demo, baby. Oye, ¿qué me hiciste traiciones? No.
Hey.
Te vamos a quitar el cerebro before you pass away. We're going to put you en un palo and download you onto a computer so you never die.
Okay, that's good.
What do you
No, poor guy. He's worked his butt off.
think? So you coming from Cuba before you impregnated mom the first time. What was the first job that you had? Like, how did you get off your feet before you got on your feet?
Hey.
And, became what you guys became? What was the first thing you did?
I'm going to tell you, when I came, my aunt got like almost 9 kids living in a house. We used to sleep in one room with my grandmother. And I knew I played accordion. I went to Bacardi. Then at 3 o'clock, I used to change, go to school to 7 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, I used to go to an Italian restaurant to play the accordion for tips. Now, how did I buy the accordion? It was crazy because my aunt told me we can afford to buy an accordion that was $177. I convinced my uncle, said, Uncle, please, I'm going to find work. Don't worry about it. I'm going to play in an Italian restaurant. And I learned to, The Godfather. I play all the Italian music. Cuban
You
guy
still can play.
Yeah.
And you know something? We was not allowed to eat. Musician was not allowed to eat or drink in the restaurant. So whenever I used to get some money, I used to go next door and buy a sandwich or buy a crackers and something and eat it. And you know something? The only reason I tell you that because you know something? People need to know in order to accomplish something, you have to work. And you know me, I wake 5 o'clock in the morning, happy, and I say, what is going to be today? Let me see the schedule. Ta, 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 ta. And then at the end, I have 20 minutes. At the end, I have 25 meetings, which is a beautiful
I know.
thing.
He's got to rush out of here after this.
I know.
You coming with me?
Oh, boy.
brother.
Oh, boy. I guess we'll see.
Janelle's cracking up back there.
So, do you remember meeting mom? So then you were working at Bacardi, you said. Then you finished school?
I finished school. I don't know how with my English. Sacha told me this. Abuelito, where you went to school? I said, Miami High. She said, man, I never go there. They never teach you English. I said, oh my God.
Sacha.
What a little twerp.
He's just like his aunt.
Mean.
He's
He's just
funny.
like him, too.
I know.
He's very funny.
I remember you told me once about your ingenuity when you were working at Bacardi about, the story about the sashes. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of stories, baby.
We love it.
The first thing that I did because I grew up with the family and I love them. That was my family when I came. Like somebody I met the other day in Palm Beach, I said, we love you. I said, you love me when I used to get papers around. And that's what is true. When you are broke and you're not famous or anything and they help you, one thing is to be always appreciated. Say, thank you for what you did for me. Oh. Now, a beautiful thing is that I knew there was really, at the time that we started, that was on the 70s, all the Cuban people was very,
They used to say no
sad.
dogs, no Cubans, right?
No, sad about Cuba and the whole thing. But I learned all the Cuban music, like Sabor a Mi, Guantanamera. So I used to go to their houses, play Guantanamera, that, and they fed me food.
He was busking.
And they said, you're allowed to drink, a couple of drinks, and they give me tips. At the end, when I left with $150. It was a lot of money for me.
That's a lot of money back then.
So you know something, we became like a family. It was a beautiful thing, and I saw them in Palm Beach, and I saw we did a big celebration to a friend of ours. It was beautiful to share with people that help you when you're at the beginning.
Yeah.
And the beginning was tough, but then they told me, listen, we want to bring the accordion, but bring maybe a couple of more musicians. That in Cuba they used to call that chirri chirri. They say, give me 2 or 3 guys. Just bring 3 or 3 guys.
You just wrote a song called that.
I wrote a song called Chirri Chirri.
Yeah.
He writes music every day. He writes new songs every day.
I'm happy with the new album. The new album is doing fantastic.
We're going to get there. We're going to get
so
there.
happy.
Amazing.
But you know something?
On the way.
And then I say, okay. And then I say, oh, you sound good. We love that. People used to dance with the conga, do all the things. And the palo, 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 palo bonito, palo. I mean, people, it was like incredible. And then we started getting bar mitzvahs. And we used to get the weddings. The first bar mitzvah for me was a shock. When I saw the kid in the chair going up and down, I said, man, these people are weird. And then the guy said, we're going to celebrate. We need to, and they said, I saw they was bringing a cake and they brought a bread. I said, what's going on, man? I'm confused. But I got a secret. The waiter told me, man, it's a song called Java la Guila. If you learn that shit, you're gonna make some money.
Yeah,
and I did it in 2 days. I bought the record. I went and learned it. Ta 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 ta. And they give me $50 as tip.
Wow! Oh my God, that's amazing.
He's probably like, coño, where am I?
I said, yeah.
These people are weird.
Is any other song I should learn?
Yeah, right. What other magic songs do you have?
Wow.
Okay.
Wait, so the sashes.
Oh, the sashes, that's right.
No, it's such as, my dad and my mom, they used to have an incredible factory, huge factory of underwear in Cuba.
Yeah.
When they came, that was the way that they put together a whole small factory. And I know it was a whole promotion of Bacardi. That was Bacardi and Coke. And they told me, oh my God, they send the bill. The bill is like $4 and something for every teacher. Will be a lot of money to give away. I said, you can do that in the factory? He said, no, we cannot do that. So I was 17 years old, and I went to a factory. I said, listen, this is the kind of thing that I want to do. How much would you charge me to make this T-shirt? And the teacher I said, well, they said, we have a new thing. It's called decal. It's something, instead of painting, you press that with it. Brought it to my boss, Tito Argamesilla. Oh, that looks good. It's amazing. And the guy told me, it's going to be $1.11. I thought he said $1.11. So he told me, just, because you have to market, put $2.50. And that's what I made my first $50,000.
Wow.
Now, I was very creative, and that's what, one thing people need to know. You need to be creative, you need to be in charge to create, and do the best that you can when they give you an opportunity. Yeah. I did such a good work. They told me, we have the whole thing that they, for Mr. Bacardi rum cake, and they want to charge, it's embroidered.
Like the Miss Universe thing?
Yeah, I said, what are they going to pay embroidered? I mean, you're going to give that and they're going to throw it away. True. It's just for the promo. I say, do you think you can do it in the factory? No, we cannot do it in the factory, but I cannot find a way to do it through the factory. So I went to a funeral home. I told the guy, listen,
that's amazing.
You can make me something, Miss Bacardi rum cake? The guy said, yeah. I said, $2. I said, okay. If you can do it art? Yes, all depends how many people die, but I can do it.
Oh my God.
And I made some money with that.
Wow. This guy, a million applause.
Well, as you can see, before the music really started taking off, you were innovating long before that.
Oh, for sure.
And making it work. Do you remember when the first time you realized that you guys were like famous or in the music world? Do you remember, like, what was that moment for you where you're like, oh my gosh, like...
The first time we heard ourselves on radio.
Wow.
We had to stop the car and say, oh my God. It was a song called Renacer.
Beautiful
with a
song.
local company. And then, something, but I always on my mind, when I met your mom, my idea wasn't even to bring women to the group. Because at that time, women was not really famous to be a musician.
Yeah.
It was like a totally, especially for Latina. But I said, I want to create something, and believe it or not, I'm the producer who produced more women in the history of any producer, which is great.
Feminist.
Yes, absolutely.
No wonder I turned out like this.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you something. The funny thing is, we did that. The first album was a huge hit. But the second album, we got a call from Sony.
Wow.
Was CBS at the time. I say, we want to sign you guys. And I say, okay. I said, we still depend on a contract with the guy who signed up for 3 albums, but we never got paid. So I told the guy, keep the albums. I mean, sometimes you have to let things go to look for a new future. And the guy said, okay, I'm going to keep it. Thank you, goodbye. I don't think you're going to have a future.
Wow.
So we did, and we did in the album that we did, we include Dr. Beat and Anita Man. Of course, the company said, we're a Latino company, we have no money. But your mom and me, we went to every record pools and we distributed that. All of a sudden, we're number 1 in London, number 1 in England, number 1 in Holland, Germany, all over the world. And we flew to Holland, and we played a club that was packed. And we played that, and people went crazy. We said, we want more, we want more. But, we played, I said, Gloria, we should play the Cuban congas because, and Gloria said, well, they don't know English, they don't know Spanish, let's do it. It was a big, big hit. And Gloria came out with the idea to do a song, conga. Then she talked to the drummer, that he'd come out with the hook, and then we went to the studio with the hook, and we finished, he almost finished the song. We finished the song in the studio, and then I was so excited. Oh my God, when I go to Sony, we're going to blow them away. I went 7 times, they never let me go upstairs. And the money was only to go in and out because I used to work on Bacardi at the time.
Wow. Little did they know.
Now, until the day that he let me go upstairs, and the guy said, oh my God, congratulations, this is great. And I said, I have a new album. Oh, I want to hear it. When he started hearing the rhythm, he said, great. But when he heard English, he said, this will never happen in America. Absolutely. You have to take the piano out, the trumpets out, the percussion out. By the way, with all respect, the women cannot be in front of the group. And then your mom stand up. And then he said, and you have to change your last name. I said, nothing that you say I'm going to change. I tell him about work. I don't say a lot about work, but I told him, I said, you like it or not, this is what Americans want to look like,
Yeah.
and you're going to have a new rhythm.
Yeah.
And he told me, you feel that way, go back to your country.
Oh.
And so I said, see you later. 7 years later, I was president of Sony. So,
How's that for a bad word?
He's like, I'm not going to go back to my country. I'm going to sit in your chair.
yeah.
I know he was
give
not
me
the
a
president.
moment,
He was
baby.
only and at the time, one person decided was even you as the chairman or the president. It was one guy about the expert about repertory, and he can say we like it or we don't like it. Now with the internet, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
People decide. By the time, believe it or not, was a lot of races about the music
I
and all the people.
I
But
believe you.
in the long run, I think if something that I felt is I felt proud about what I did, even could be the end of my career, glorious career. And I was very proud of your mom that she stick to, to say, I'm not changing my name. I am who I am. I feel comfortable doing it. And something, it was a beautiful thing to go through a lot of things. And sometimes I talk about it because people need to know that it's not an easy thing to be in the music business. And so you take a lot of pride to do something that is important because every step of the way, you can ruin a whole life with one bad decision. That's what I say. Everything has consequences. And something your mom and me, we always take care to be sure we do things right because we're proud where we came from and we're proud of everything we accomplished. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Absolutely.
And you really are like that. And you're one of the people who really uses the responsibility of your position and your influence. And is constantly like, like, don't drink and drive. It's not worth it, No, but it's true.
This
like,
is how he says it. He goes, baby, who's driving?
Of course, because something.
Every
A lot
time.
of people do that. Say, listen, if you are famous and you have the money, I'm gonna tell you, I have my tequilas. Listen, I'm not a saint. I like to dance. I like to enjoy life, share with people that I love.
Yeah.
But why should I get drunk? No, I say no.
Never.
I bring a driver. Even if I have to go walking, I will not drive. Absolutely.
And by the way, even if you don't have all the money in the world, if you're going out drinking, one drink is like what, $15?
Yeah.
If you're drunk, you're already spending way more money than a cab costs. Just have one less drink and get
You
in
say,
a
don't
cab.
drink.
Or that, guys. Anyway.
With Ubers,
Yeah.
that problem is solved. Nobody needs to drive.
You said something that's incredible, that you've worked with the most females out of a producer. One of those females that I think there's a story that describes you really well is our incredible Celia Cruz, who unfortunately is no longer with us, but has been on, was just on the quarter and is still so present in so many people's lives. And in my deep dive research, escuchamos una historia de que te estabas alistando para hacer algo y estabas con mom, and when you were getting ready, that Celia called you.
I was taking a shower when she called me.
Oh my God, you were taking a shower.
They told me I was already working. Gloria was all over the world, #1, and then I was starting to work with Shakira and everything. But my dream was to work with her because I love her.
Celia.
Celia. And Celia, I wrote a song for you that is beautiful. You need to go to the studio because I really want to impress her.
Yeah.
And she was so nice. Always she sent cards and congratulating us. And, the energy on her and her husband was so beautiful. And she comes and said, hey, I'm coming to Miami. I said, I'm taking a shower. I hardly hear you, but something, I'm so happy. We want to meet in the studio. I said, no. I want to hear how the song go. I didn't write anything.
Like,
And I said, yo le pongo sazón, le pongo sazón, yo le pongo sazón, a mi negrito le pongo sazón. He said, oh my God, I love that. Keep going. I said, no, I'm taking. I said, no. I said, Gloria, Celia's coming tomorrow. We need to finish the song because and we wrote a song. The song became #1.
Wow.
We have a song to write.
It was the best experience of my whole life. And then, she called me. She said, Emilio, I don't have a record label. And I said, listen, I have Crescent Moon, but I don't want to get you in Crescent Moon. I don't want to make any money from you. I want to go straight to Sony. Oh. When I sent her to Sony, the president of Sony told me, Emilio, I don't think that's a good idea because, her age, come on. You have to be crazy to sign somebody. And you know something? I say, if you don't sign her, you don't get Jennifer Lopez, you don't get Shakira, you don't get Gloria Estefan, you don't get Ricky Martin. And then I called to Matola, and I said, she's going to be, I don't even worry about her. And she died with like 7 #1.
Wow.
And she left me the more beautiful note on her clothes. She left me like a dress, her wig, her shoes, saying how thankful she was because, something is nothing in life is better than to die with dignity. And she deserved that. Her and Cachao is two people that brought our Cuban
You did that
music.
for Cachao too. Got him
history.
signed
Yeah.
when he came from.
And something, it's a beautiful thing that, I was, if I became president of Sony, I was going nobody who was really famous. I was going for real music, real people, and, to keep some of the legacy, especially for Cuban music, because that's my heritage. I want to be sure that we kept this, and we did. We went to Grammys with Cachao. We won Grammys
for
with Celia.
master sessions, right? One and two.
Yeah.
Incredible records.
Wow.
We did with Andy Garcia.
Those are like archival records. Those are like things that
homework everybody needs to do.
like that people need to really listen to.
You saw a lot of the history. I mean, she was there in the studio when a lot of things happened.
Yeah. No, and I remember how warm Celia was.
Oh my God, she was amazing.
She had like that energy and just like. And I
wrote
very
a song
young.
for her
I
that's
was very
called
young
Por
when
si
she passed
acaso
away.
no regreso. And that was the number one for her. And when she was singing that was the first time that I saw her crying. She cried every second, just in case I don't make it back. And something, she didn't. But she brought a lot of pride for women, especially African-American women.
Yeah.
Because she told me a lot of stories that was really hard. Imagine to be African-American, be a Latina, and not speaking English, but she said, and being no young person.
Right.
But she died with pride. And when they give me, the manager, which is doing incredible work, they give me some of the first coin to save. Which I give you one.
Yeah.
That was in print.
I'll never
they give
tell
it
you
to
what.
I
me.
have one.
Yeah.
So, something that's to me, that's the thing you do in life that is a beautiful thing, to be able to help somebody else. And she didn't need help. She deserved all the recognition that she got.
You did her first video, right?
First video.
That's incredible.
I called the company and said, she wanted to do a video. I said, oh my God, let me see what kind of budget. I said, $2,000. What am I going to do with $2,000? But I did the video, and I did it like
it's
I Love
amazing.
Lucy.
Yeah.
Like one take.
It's online. You guys can
love
go.
that. What
It's
song
part
is
of your
it?
Mi negrito le pongo sazón, but it's
Sazón.
only one
put
take. And
sazón.
she was so happy. She was so happy.
It's so cool. It's so awesome.
But
It's
he's
what
a
people
legend.
are trying
He's
to
a
do
living
now.
legend.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So many of the things that you've done, now people are like, oh, I'm going to do that again.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe that's called Cuban coffee. Forget about that.
We've talked about a lot of your accolades, and like we said, we know you have a lot of places to go. But there are a couple little funny things, and Jem, I'm going to give you this so that you have one in your hand, and we can
Oh my God.
we can
It's like
kind
a
of
lottery.
we can kind of go back and forth here.
Okay, I have to ask. I know that there's a long list. I don't think I could answer this question, but I have a feeling you will. What is your favorite thing about your daughter, Emily?
My favorite thing, everything.
I know. But if you had to
something
choose
I
one.
love because, she has her own personality.
Yeah.
She doesn't like to be helped. She likes to do things by herself.
But I need help often.
Yeah. And she knows I'm there 24 hours, whatever she needs, and she knows that.
Yeah.
And what I love is an Emilio and Gloria improve, because she's better than me and Gloria. Yes,
She's a lot like you. She's a lot like
and
you
you know
both.
something? She's humble. She doesn't want to always recognize her talent. But it's amazing that she got a career that is a career that is more beautiful in the whole world, because, you get free love. Celia used to tell me, you can sell records, you cannot buy love. And you know something? When the amount of recognition you get from people that that you don't expect, is people that they love you. I mean, the realists, they follow you. We have fans from Gloria and me all the way from the beginning. And they
Yeah.
still like families now. We don't have enough words to say. I mean, she's going live now with a new album, and you're getting millions of people from all over the world saying, how happy they are. They're asking for a tour and this kind of thing. I mean, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
When you are in this career, it's not only your family. You have an extended family that love you. They don't ask you for anything. They give you everything. And that's a beautiful thing to have as a career.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I love that.
Okay. Do you remember your first impressions of Jem when you met her? It's almost been 10 years.
No, chill.
9 years.
No, 8 years. It'll be 9 this year. Yo no estoy tan vieja.
It was beautiful. We liked her from the beginning. I remember the beginning. Of course, the main question is, who is she?
Yeah, I came out of nowhere. Trust me.
No, listen.
For me too.
Yeah, I kinda
It will be a
sprung
time
you
that
out
you're going to
there.
have that. Say, who is she? Who has a family?
Yeah.
What's going on? That happens to anybody, any father. To tell you, if you have a dog and you're going to live in somebody's house, you're going to say, I don't care. It was a girl, it was a boy, it was an African American, it was a Martian, and I don't care who it was. The only thing that I
didn't
care,
know that was an option.
somebody who love you and take care of you, and you love her. And that, to me, that was his confusion about, I mean, we don't care nobody's gay anything. I mean, we look anybody, no color, we don't look anybody who
Martians
like.
on the
And what did I tell you? I would say, I want you to be happy. As long as you're happy, we're extremely happy. Thanks God you had a beautiful relation for so many years, and you still have it. And something, that's what I have with your mom, my mom.
Relationships are hard work, like
I remember the beginning, you got upset and said, no, I said, listen, I'm going to do a background. I was kidding. I was not, something. Yo did as a kid. But something, say, oh my God. But listen, let me tell you, a lot of people do that. And I say, who are they? Where did they come from? You never know.
I was 22
you
and I was
like... You could be a terrorist. I don't know you're a terrorist.
I wasn't.
Hey, she could be a Martian.
I could be. That would be cool. I unzip. I have something to tell you, Emilio.
Okay. As you can tell, I also get a lot of my quirkiness from my father.
Oh, yes. They call him Joderin.
Yeah.
And I call her Joderina.
Yeah. Big time. I said, the people that work for me has been with us for 40 years.
I know.
In our house, same staff, my same staff in the office, the same musician. And I'm so happy because, to work for me is the easiest thing you can have and the worst thing because I'm a perfectionist.
I know you are a perfectionist.
I don't forget anything. I mean, I work in 3 Olympics, 4 halftime Super Bowl, 40 events in the White House, 60 presidents.
No.
I mean, at the World Cup, the League Cup, and the only reason I achieved, I think, so many things is not that I have the education for that. It's because I'm very persistent and I love life.
Yeah.
I wake up very positive. I don't want to deal with negative with anybody.
Yeah.
Listen, people around me has to have the same energy, the same love what you do, and it's a blessing when you have that.
This morning I have my nephew. We call him Baby Lips Franklin El que baila, and he's starting to learn piano. And I actually kind of like channeled you. Because my cousin, who's his mom, was like, oh, he's nervous because he wants to get it perfect right in the beginning. And I was like, I'm going to put on my Emilio Estefan cap. And I sent my video and I said, Franklin, you just have to enjoy it. And I know that's one of your biggest sayings.
That's the way. Because let me tell you, a lot of people worry about things.
Yeah.
And so the minute that is happening now will never come back.
It's true.
And I write that in a lot of songs. And something, if you don't, I just wrote a song that is a beautiful song. I said, sing before whatever you're gonna say, one word can hurt a lot. And sometimes you know that. When I try to get upset, I get away because, sometimes I say things, let me don't say anything.
Better not to.
I got that from you too.
No,
Dad.
but
Thanks.
let me tell you, sometimes I learned that say, okay, see you tomorrow. Let's talk tomorrow. Because let me tell you, get me upset. If I have to work till 2 o'clock in the morning, don't come to saying that, I'm hungry. You're hungry, you should have to, like I do. I eat a yogurt when I'm eating sometimes.
Right.
I mean, and people have to have the same principle to work with me.
Work
now,
ethic.
Time to enjoy to have a party, let's have a party. Time to enjoy to have a concert is great.
Everything in its time.
But time to work is time to work.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking about, like I said, funny things and the relationship that you have, your employees and everything. Funny little things about my father. For example,
there's a lot of them.
For example, just to set the mood, he travels with Fabuloso.
Yes. That I now do that because of him.
He cleans the hotel room first thing when he gets there.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
He makes his bed.
Of course, he makes
When I
his
leave the
bed.
hotel, it looks better than when I came to the hotel.
Yes,
I want to tell you why. Number one, the person who's cleaning, you have to have respect for people that they pay, and you don't have to abuse that you pay in a room because they are poor people. Number two, a lot of people that they are become celebrity, they leave everything like it's a mess, and that's not fair for the other
Number
person.
three, I love you, pero estás un poquito loquito. And ever since, even when you were dating Mom, you would vacuum your footprints on the
Yes,
rug.
I do.
And
I
now
still do.
you
What are you
send
talking
poor
about?
Mom. Now you're not allowed to have trash in the trash can past
my
a certain
gosh.
hour.
No, I
'cause
can't. I
The
don't
trash
want it.
can't sleep inside. The trash has
Has
to
to
sleep
go
in the
outside,
outside trash. Okay.
Yeah.
It's true.
He's like,
I agree.
what
I
you're
agree
saying
with
is
all
right.
of it.
Okay, and one of the things which is actually an Easter egg, I can't wait to talk more about Raíces, but there's a little clip in Raíces of you kicking over a stick, un palo, in the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that we do either when we're traveling or when not. We'll send these videos.
It's in the video now.
That's what I said. That's what I was saying. Of who can kick over the biggest stick.
Yeah, so you should go look at the Raíces video and you'll see that's a video that he took to send to Emily when he was traveling of the...
Because we used to do it all over the world. And something, of course, being a little girl. But even through time, when she was in Boston, I've been traveling. Whatever she wants, I do it. I can be in Japan, I can be in France. we go and I send it to her.
Yeah, now te está poniendo viejo, so it's just for stretching.
No, now I do this now. Before was like,
He still got it. Go watch the music video. That one is impressive. One more story that really is just close to my heart. Que nunca me olvido. God bless you, Dad. I was in college and they were having this big event at their house.
Good. I had to put my cards down for
I
this.
can't even get through it. We're having this big event at the house, and one of the ladies who works at their house, who's like a second mother to me, Miriam, I've spoken about her before on the podcast, who's still with them to this day, had put away some of the stuff that was left over from the party. And so my dad calls me, and he was kind of
He's already laughing.
He was kind of grumpy on the phone. He's like, "Oh, hey baby, good morning." I'm like, "What? ¿Qué te pasó, Pablo?" He goes, "No, I feel terrible. I was spending the entire morning throwing out." I'm like, ¿qué pasó? He's like, "Oh my God, I went to the kitchen to try to, to eat. I wanted like guayaba and cheese and crackers. So I go to the fridge." Kind of like, I go to the fridge, I take it out. I see there's lemongrass, goat milk. I say, okay, different cheese.
I said, fancy cheese. This is fancy cheese, man.
Yeah.
It was a big party the night before. But let me tell you something. Okay, continue. I'm gonna do the closing on this.
There you go. Okay, go.
No, please, take it from here.
No? I mean, I love guayaba and cheese. I mean,
Yeah.
you too, by the way.
Yeah, she does.
I used to cook for you every morning. I
Yeah.
do guayaba and cheese for your dessert. I used to take her to school every day. I used to cook
Fried rice.
her breakfast in the morning and lunch.
Steak.
Show me
Yeah.
mixes in the car.
She was spoiled.
Yeah.
Now,
She still
the
is.
good thing, I say, oh my God, we don't buy this kind of cheese. Probably it's very expensive. I don't know. They brought this kind of cheese, grass or something that has to be incredible. I got a cracker. I got put some guava. I put a crack and I put the cheese. And I went. I said, oh, that's weird. A little bit weird. But, when I saw it, I said, man, this tastes horrible. So I tell my chef, listen, what kind of cheese? He said, no, that's not cheese. That was soap.
It was soap, you guys.
By me, I say, who in the world gonna think to put soap in the fridge?
I know.
That wasn't my fault.
He's got bubbles come out. When he called me, he's like, no, because then then my mom called me back and she goes, your dad has called me. He goes, baby, is lemongrass poisonous?
I was ready to say, my God, no.
Anyway, so take it away. Now you know where I'm going.
Oh, yes. Okay. So my introduction to these Emiliadas was one day because, I have an eye
this was
for
not
fashion.
an Emiliada. Explain what an Emiliada is.
Okay,
Start
an
over.
Emiliada, I really feel you should explain what an Emiliada because Emiliada is Emilio-isms in Spanish.
We're going to talk, and now, we're going to talk about something called Emiliada. Which is what we affectionately call my dad's language, which is very surprising sometimes, but it's a combination of English, Spanish, and
Invention.
imagination. Yes. So we're going to talk about that. But
I love fashion, so I always, this man is the most fashionable man you'll ever meet in your life. So I always look at your shoes, I always look at your jewelry. And one time you were wearing shoes, and I'm like, wow, I love your shoes. You go, baby, these are brand new. I go, where did you get them? He goes, Tom Cruz. And I'm like, wow, okay, because it's normal. I mean, the other day he was like, oh, I was talking to the Pope. He says crazy stuff all the time. I'm like, I guess Tom Cruise sent him shoes. It was not Tom Cruise that sent him shoes. They were Tom Ford.
yeah.
Well, they sound alike.
It's like all the information is there, but it kind of like smashes together like Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis
I
running at
don't
each
pay
other.
attention to things that is not important. To
Hey,
me,
there
it's
you
another
go.
things that are a lot more important.
You're
than
right.
That. But
You're right.
I love sometimes Gloria say that noise. I mean, when you marry for 40-something years,
Yeah.
your man never let me go to the doctor by myself. He said, no, you tell that you're confused after you leave. No, because I'm thinking about the museum doing this.
Yeah.
So the doctor said, hello, Emilio, how are you? I say, hello, how are you, doctor? He's feeling good. I say, where do you come from? He said, well, the problem that you have, and Gloria said, well, the problem he has a pain here, and this arm, and, the hair here. I say, I'm the one sick. Sick. But it's not his arm, it's this arm. so because realistically, even I go to the doctor, I have to go so fast that I tell things that you forgot to tell him this and this and that.
Yeah,
and that.
forgot.
Thank God she goes.
Thank God that I'm healthy. I just go for checkup.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Okay,
Yeah.
so now we're gonna grace your ears with a couple of more Emiliadas. He called the Hoover Dam Notre Dame.
Oh my God.
By the way, his laugh, you haven't heard him quite get there yet, but that was a preview of when it really gets
What
there.
time-
I love people's faces. They go,
My face. We were in London. We were on the bus, and it was my first time in England. And he goes, "Mira, baby, Buckingham Palace."
Buckingham Palace.
Buckingham Palace.
That's another one. Okay, he calls them heart rumors instead of heart murmurs. He ordered parmigiana ice cream instead of pomegranate ice cream.
Cordon bleu instead of code blue. Very different.
I wanted to make it more French.
There you go. You see?
Okay, he refers to the plane, like when the planes go down, the black box, he calls it the caja china.
Instead of, it told somebody put money in their mouth instead of put your money where your mouth is.
Yes, honestly, same. Also great. When he was going to my show, he said he was going to my recital instead of my recital. Love that one. Oh, this one, love it. He called Aretha Franklin urethra Franklin, which is strangely harder than Aretha.
It's so much harder to say urethra.
Because I just go by the sound, I go by sound.
Right. It makes sense. It makes sense. What about, here, road models instead of role models.
Yeah, as you can see, these are just another layer to be around him that just is like the cherry on top.
You know what happened? Because realistically, I never have a chance to, even I went to college.
Yeah.
Was so many things happening that I graduated with good notes, because I think it was because my ear was so good that I remember things more than anything else. But I never went to a physical education. I never learned music. Even I've been nominated 46 times for Grammys. I won so many Grammys and everything. It's because you love what you do. But it was difficult. I had to bring my family, support that, do work, play the accordion, do that. I didn't have a chance. Many kids go to school. I go to Harvard, and I didn't have to go to Harvard. You can study music,
and they ain't gonna have the ideas and the melodies and all the things and the production.
But I created. You been with me and say, okay, let me write you a song. Okay, don't record that. The song is a hit.
No, literally, he'll put it in his phone, and you'll be around it, and then by the end of the day, he's like, boom.
Listen, my favorite thing that happened to, I think, probably in my whole life, when Emily's moving back from being in Berkeley from Boston, and she said, "Dad, the air condition is broken."
Oh, I love this
story. We call a
story.
company. I said, "Oh my God, you call a company?" I said, "Do you stay with the dogs?" He just, you got your dogs.
Yeah.
And I said, "Baby, of course. You're packing anyways, and the way I can help you." So he called a company. The guy come in with the whole thing. He's upstairs fixing the air condition. And I'm doing the window, packing the whole thing, under with Clorox. They're doing the glasses with the napkins to packing. And the guy said, "Tigre, tigre." If people know Spanish, tigre is like you say, "Hey, dude."
Yeah, hey, dude, yeah.
But I love the way the Dominican Republic say that.
I know, me too.
I said, "Tigre." I said, "Yeah. Do you have a little car, man?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Man, for your age, you clean really good. I can send you a lot of people." I said, "Do you think we can have a beer? It's really hot in this place." So I got a beer. I bought a pizza. But then I take my hat out. The guy looked at me and said, "Man, you look like somebody like a Robbie De Niro." But no, you don't Robbie De Niro. Or no, Marcante. Marcante is really skinny. You look like Emilio Estefan. I said, "Yeah, I'm Emilio Estefan." I said, "What the hell you doing cleaning an apartment, man?"
No, yeah. Then I get back from the gig and these people are drinking beer and eating pizza. No,
my
apartment was spotless.
Oh yeah.
No. And that night as well, we had these lanterns that I had got, and he's like, "Ay, baby, te compraron una linterna que tan una maravilla la linterna," and we were all like, "Oh, you know what we're gonna do? We're all gonna race because there was a bunch of them, and you have to build them by hand."
Yeah.
And we're all gonna race to see who finishes the linterna primero. But my dad had a business dinner down the street. So Heather and my mom and I had started, and then Heather and my mom started getting really upset at each other. And my dad shows up halfway through, and my mom and Heather were having Cosmos, and he comes and he joins the party. So they're they're having Cosmos, and he had already come from dinner. So he comes, and in the time that Heather and her built I don't know, three. He was there for 40 minutes, and he built one lantern. And the minute he walked away, the lantern just popped open. Oh. And so he went to sleep. And the next morning he woke up and he goes out there and he goes, mira lo que hice.
That's what happens when you drink Cosmo.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's what happens when you work too much and you don't sleep enough, which you need to do.
That's another.
I need to work my ass off, and I need to learn from your
Yes, you
work
do.
ethic and have better time management like you, so that I can be getting sashes
Music
from the
is-
funeral
you know
home and
something?
be making movies and be writing soundtracks
Yeah.
and be flying all over the world and producing the Olympics and producing the biggest events in the entire world
And still waking
releasing
up-
albums
And still waking up in the
working on
morning
5
to hose
albums.
off his
The
driveway.
secret is I enjoy every single minute, and that's what happened. People, and I wrote that in the new song that is #1 now.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you
Raíces,
something.
baby.
It's an amazing thing because it's a song that the first time in my whole history became like #1, like in the first day, is that people say I cry and dance on the same time.
It's so
because
good.
I try to send a message of hope for people. Like people have to enjoy the program, and everything you do in life has consequences, and how you have to do things right to get a good feedback in your life. And it's the way it should be.
Yes. Amen. So speaking of raíces, which at this very moment you can go on YouTube and watch the video, and by the time this episode comes out shortly, you're going to have another song, which I can't tell you the name yet. I'm going to say it behind the camera, and you can't see it. But soon you're going to have a second video and an entire album that he's poured so much love into. And like he said, not only does it make you cry, it makes you dance.
Makes
My
you
mom's
dance.
voice is as
Yeah,
She
check it
sounds
out.
incredible as always every
Incredible.
time. And it's the first Latin album she's released, and you've released in 18 years.
years.
Okay, and I've had a feeling about this since I've been hearing these songs since a little bit ago. And yeah, so enjoy that, Raíces. And speaking of Raíces, before we let you go, we wanted to offer you an opportunity to do something.
Yeah.
Okay. As you can hear, we are literally in this
We're
moment
coming on
about to
live.
go live. Acércate aquí. Acércate. Hello. Greetings, fam. We're beaming down from outer space, and we were here talking everything Raíces. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Mama. Hi, Jem. Hi, babe.
Hi, congratulations. A beautiful song.
Congratulations to you, my man. Tú escribiste esta canción fabulosa. You wrote this beautiful song. By the way, we're ¿Qué pasa USA it over here?
I love it.
We have fans from all over. So
That's good. English
español,
and Spanish.
inglés, hay que mezclar.
Bueno, Mom, as being the other half of this project, in the spirit of this interview, do you have any questions for Dad about the project?
Okay, babe. Yeah, Emilio. ¿Cuántos años tú llevas trabajando en este proyecto? Porque yo sé, se los dije más o menos, pero quiero oírlo de ti.
I mean, inglés, español.
Los dos, español.
You were
No,
both?
listen,
Back and
it's
forth.
been 2 years. 2 years because, this is an important album because we want to be sure that we leave a beautiful legacy to a lot of people. A lot of people, they need to realize the value about family. This song is about family. It's about what you do with your family. With time passes by, and some of the families are fans. That has been with, I was talking here with interviews, so many years, people that has been following us for so many years, give us so much love that I want to thank you. I think this song is about that. It's about the family. It's about heritage. It's about leaving a beautiful legacy to a lot of people and bringing the hope to live in a better world.
Yeah.
That's another song right there. That's another song.
Yeah, he's writing the next album.
Ok, por favor, cuenta cómo tú hiciste tu canción que escribiste el love song, porque eso es algo increíble.
¿Tú crees que yo soy bobo? So what I did, I wrote a song for you, like I've done a lot of songs for you, but you sing it for me, which is a beautiful thing. People say, oh my God, Gloria's so in love with you. I said, yes, she is.
There you have it.
I know you wrote it for me, babe, but I have to say it because it's so funny. He comes to me and says, babe, I wrote a love song for you. Dijo, te escribí una canción de amor. Digo, oh, babe, are you going to sing it for me? ¿Me la vas a cantar? Y dice, no, tú me la vas a cantar a mí. No, you're going to sing it for me.
Yeah.
And of course,
But I'm going to tell you that this
but I feel those
yeah,
things.
something, this album is about love, giving back all the love that people help us so many years. And, to share this time with you has been the highlight of my whole life. And, something it's beautiful to be able to make a record that, that goes #1. Is getting the incredible response.
baby,
The first Grammy.
already charting.
And, something, it's about people know that, music have no age. Anybody who can love music, age is important, but, it's good to do good music and leave some great music behind for a new generation to recognize the Latino music has no language. We're going to reach with this album, like many of the albums that we've done, and other people all over the world.
Woo!
Señor, y también quiero que sea un ejemplo. I want this to be, for people to realize, Emilio and I, well, I'm in my 60s. He's already in the next decade. And he has been, and I've been more productive creatively than ever in my life, maybe because the things like raising a family, like getting through those moments in life, now the creative projects can be focused on. Emilio está haciendo discos he's making records for Nico, Guzzi, the Wailers, the Tenors from Canada. This record, Raíces, Cima Funk.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing more than ever in his life. Está haciendo más cosas creativas que jamás. Y en un año hizo 19 álbumes en el pasado.
Wow.
Pero he doesn't slow down, this man.
Well, listen, we're going to have a big surprise for the third single. For all the fans, we're going to do something that we've never done. So get ready. Prepárense porque el tercer sencillo vamos a hacer algo con muchos de ustedes que van a poder ver una cosa que va a ser transmitido a toda parte del mundo. Así que estamos de ansiosos que puedan oír el álbum y decirle que lo queremos mucho y gracias por siempre ocuparnos de nosotros siempre. Sin ustedes nosotros no hubiéramos llegado a muchos lugares, sobre todo con diferentes different languages, different countries. They learn about Latin music because of you. So I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of my daughters here. And we're having a great time. So we'll
let you go. Congratulations,
yeah,
Mom. Hola, todo el mundo.
One more little question. Wait.
Yeah.
Just one more little question.
Yes.
Babe, what's your pet peeve about me? ¿Qué es lo que más te molesta que yo te hago?
Every time you ask me a question, I'm brushing my teeth.
Absolutely, I don't know how.
I mean, 40-something years, a chica goes, baby, don't answer me. I'm going, chac. Baby, I called you in an hour, 2 minutes.
To be fair though, he probably spends 15% of his day brushing his teeth. So. Well, congratulations.
See you soon tonight. We're going to celebrate.
Hashtag races. Para una buena cosecha, hay que saber sembrar.
Technology.
Bye. Well, there you have it. All right. Well, Jermaine, Dad, in the spirit of In Our Own World, there's one more tradition that we need to speak about before you make your way out of outer space and back to Earth. But thank you for joining us for this small and short window of the enormous planet and universe that you are. But without further ado, welcome to everybody's outer space. What's my name? Outer space. Space News! This is actually a very important day in space news because you're going to see there's a resolution to a storyline that's been going on for many, 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 many months now here in outer space. So, without any further ado, here we go. It's space news. NASA has captured the exact moment a star is born. The images are stunning and connect us to the cosmos, displaying 2 plates of light forging towards each other. And, most incredibly, when you zoom in 3x, you will see Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper making out. Next, the U.S. Space Force released a new strategy blueprint outlining how it plans to integrate artificial intelligence into its operations and improve AI literacy amongst its personnel. The document, titled, "We Will Be Faking Everything From Now On," was published on March 19th in response to Defense Department directives calling for more data. Well, at least they're not even trying to lie to us anymore. AI's taken over. Now, they're going to go back and recreate the fake moon landing. Is it fake? Is it not? We'll never know. I just report the news, okay? Finally, like I said, it is a very important day in space, okay? Imagínate, you with claustrophobia, 9 months anywhere, let alone in space, you would be able to do it, okay? After months of reporting of the poor astronauts stuck up in space, they are finally successfully back on Earth, and unfortunately that poor lady's hair is back in gravity. I really liked it sticking up like that. I'm sad that really ultimately that's what I'm gonna miss. It was a momentous homecoming for NASA astronaut Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams after finally returning to Earth after spending 9 months in space. And by the way, it was only supposed to be 9 days. Reports are emerging, this is absolutely true, look it up, sharing the astronauts will only receive about $1,000 extra in total for this space disaster. So kids, if you dream of dedicating your lifetime and your body and your mind to space travel, don't. But welcome home, Butch and Suni. Yay! And this has been Space News! Cruz. Dad, it's not a secret. You are absolutely one of my favorite human beings in the world, whether you made me or not. I learn from you every single day.
You didn't make me, and you're one of my favorite human beings in the world.
And I really appreciate you taking the time and the wisdom and opening up and sharing with us. And congratulations on the record.
Yeah.
Thank you so
We
much.
love you so much. I would say tell me what you're working on, but...
No, it's a lot of coming up,
things.
a lot of great things coming up. But more than anything, I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you because you know something. I think you are like me a lot of things.
I wish I was like you.
Because
I'd even more
something,
like you.
I really, in the long run, and you too, we try to do things what is right. We live in a time that, that it's great to have family values and to have unity in the world that we need that. I hope through this that we've done today, people need to learn that you have to go through a lot of things in life, but always it's good to be free in a free country. It's always good to give it back to a free country and to always never forget where you come from. So this what you guys are doing is continue everything that we did. I hope you make it better now, baby.
You heard it here first. Thank you for listening to Inner World Pod. We'll see you next week.
Bye.